All right, hi friends, Gene Burnett here. Wearing my sunglasses because I'm going to do this video up close to the camera, and I have my ring light up here, and it's a little bright. I've just been recording some music sets, and nice to have some sunglasses on there because this thing is bright, and I'm a little light sensitive. So I thought I would share with you a great practice theme that I kind of happened on lately that really has been really great for my practice. The style that I do is called the double yang style or symmetrical yang style of Chong Da Chen, variation on the traditional yang style. It has a rise and fall in the movements, it has opening and closing in the movements, and it has acceleration and deceleration in the movement, which is a little different from what's called traditional yang style, but it's still basically a yang style form. And my teacher Andy would always try to impress on us that the form itself was not the Tai Chi. The form itself was like a playground or like a laboratory or a jungle gym kind of where you learn about Tai Chi, but the form itself is not Tai Chi. So we're not trying to spend all of our time trying to perfect the form and get this exact form movements as though correct form is going to suddenly liberate Star Wars like Yoda power or something. The, you want correct form, but not to labor over minute adjustments to that. And so you're not aiming to do the form the same time every time you do it. There's not some perfect version that has everything Tai Chi is that you're trying to emulate every single time. My teacher, Andy Dale, would always encourage us to do what he would call theme your practice. In other words, have a theme to your practice, a specific angle on the Tai Chi that you're working on. That theme can be anything from, gee, I haven't done the form in a while, I just want to go through the motions and dust off the choreography. That's your theme. It's the intent of your practice. What are you going to do today? Another theme would be upright spine. Maybe you've been slouching a little bit lately, so you decide, oh, I want to do the whole form with attention to my spine and it's being upright the whole time. Or you can be thinking about shoulders down. Sometimes upright spine and low shoulders kind of go together. So you're not holding your shoulders up here. You're not forcing them down, but you're letting them rest like your shoulder blades are resting on your back and you're letting them just drop naturally. Or you might focus on footwork, or you might focus on very smooth stepping or smooth weight shifts or the application of the movement or the particular path of momentum through your body and out to where it eventually is going to go. There's lots of different themes that you can do. There's posture level themes and relaxation level themes, and then there's some kind of cool kind of energy or nervous system themes. Like you could do the whole form as though you were a gorilla, or you could do the whole form like a kind of a snaky way. You can adopt an animal's quality and gently insert that like a lens over your form. Or you can do drunken style. Every movement looks like you're drunk, that kind of thing. So along those lines, when you have different themes to your practice, number one, it keeps it from getting boring because you're not trying to do the same thing every time. And number two, you're exposing your Tai Chi to different lines of inquiry. I sometimes think of Tai Chi as like a giant, ornate, invisible castle. And you can never know the whole thing. It's how the whole freaking universe works, the yin and yang of everything. So every time you look at your Tai Chi from a different angle, it's kind of like shooting a paintball, just one paintball at that thing. It just exposes some of it. And you get a different angle. I believe there's a Werner Heisenberg quote that I really like. He says, "What you see is not nature, but nature exposed to your line of questioning." So, you expose it to different lines of questioning. You may not find out what it actually is, as if anybody freaking knows, but you might get a knack for it. Like, you don't have to know what gravity is. You just have to know, you have to have a knack for how it operates or you're going to get injured in this world. So, doing things from doing the form with different themes exposes different things to yourself. It's kind of like you highlight this one aspect for a while and then you relax and let it just kind of integrate into your Tai Chi as a whole. Then you highlight something else, like the footwork for a while, maybe a month, maybe a year, maybe a season, and then you let it integrate into your form as a whole. And then maybe you work on kicks for 6 months or a year, and then you let it integrate into the whole. Or you work on better posture, integrated into the whole. Work on better flow, integrated into the whole. So focus on these different things. It's nice. It strengthens your Tai Chi in a way because you're pressure testing it from different angles. Just like a plant with a rotating fan around it would get stronger than a plant where the fan is always pointing one direction, because it'll only get strong in that direction. So here's the theme that I've happened on recently that I really, really, really like. So if you want to play along with me, open your hands in front of yourself like this, and just very gently just rub your palms together. Not for friction, not like to make heat, but just very, very gently, just to kind of, just to wake up the nerves of your hand. So they're kind of a little tingly, a little bit fuzzy feeling, you know. And then if you can stand, your feet are parallel down there, a little wider than your hips, knees a little bent, sitting into your hip crease, tail tucked a little bit, chest lifted a little bit, head down a little bit, chin back a little bit, kind of the usual upright position. And just stand with your hands, fingertips facing each other, elbows lower than your wrists. And again, feel this inner palm area right in here, this little pocket in here, almost like you had I think of like having if you had a warm, like a pool ball, and you just rolled it gently in your hand. Just a warm circular feeling on the insides of your palms. And just sink into your legs a little bit and just feel the warmth of that smooth inner palm area. Just let yourself feel that and notice how your body feels. How does it feel in your body? What's the distribution of tension in your body? Particularly, how does it feel like in your head? Like literally inside your head, behind your eyes, inside the skull, your sense of what's going on in your brain. Might sound a little woo-woo, but just notice how that feels inside your head and how it feels in your body. And then if your eyes were closed, you could open them a little bit. And now just very gently, just grip with your fingers like you were just picking up a grapefruit with your fingertips. Not, claws, but just tense up your fingers a little bit. And let your eyes close. And notice how your body feels when you do that. Right? And then relax and focus on the palms. Let the fingers go all but limp. And just focus on the inner palms. Right? Going to straighten my posture a little bit. And then back to gently tensing the fingers again. And then back to the palms. And then back to the fingers one more time. And then back to the palms one more time. See if you can feel a difference between when you relax your fingers completely and just focus on the palms versus tensing, gently feeling that tension feeling in the fingers. And then just let your hands drop. So, what I noticed, and when I've asked my students to do this, what they tell me concurs almost across the board with minor personal differences, is that when they tense the fingers, they feel this tension that goes up their arm and up into their neck and the back of their head. They feel that. Almost everybody reports that. And then when they release the fingers and focus on the palms, they feel this kind of sense of relaxation, along that circuit of the arms out to the hands. What I notice is that when I focus on the palms, my sense of myself inside, in my nervous system and in my head, is more homogeneous and uniform, and it feels more like an even sort of field. When I grip with the fingers a little bit, I feel like everything kind of narrows, particularly to the front part of my head and the front part of my forehead and the surface of my eyes, and I feel this kind of superficial surface tension that can wrap around and it affects what's going on up here. But mostly I feel this narrowing feeling in my brain. And then when I go back to the palms, it's like it spreads out. It's almost kind of like a pancake. It just spreads out through my body. And then when I go back to the fingers, it's almost like the pancake film reverses and it's going back into the spatula, or what do you call those things? Ladle. It's like going back into that pointed place and then it's back again. So my own feeling about this is I think that when you use your fingers and focus on your fingers and that digital aspect of your hands, that a different part of your brain is active than when you focus on the palms. I think that fingers, that hand-eye coordination, detailed work has a lot to do with making tools. It has a lot to do with manipulating tools. It has a lot to do with doing fine work. Whereas the palms, you can't, for instance, like, you couldn't, like, I don't know, do, I don't know, build a birdhouse with just your palms. You have to use your fingers all. That's how we manipulate things. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that our whole society has become so digital, finger-oriented, eyes and brain. You're solving those problems. It's all up here and here and here. It's hand and eye. And then this becomes the machine that takes the head and the phone around, or the computer around from place to place, or the thing that parks and lets your hand and eyes do this thing. So it's not that that's necessarily bad. We need to build tools. We need to type. We need to communicate. We need to do these kinds of things. It's just that I think it's, in most of us, pretty out of balance. We're very, very focused on the fingers and the digital. So what I've been doing is, oh, by the way, the outside of your hand here, this and this and this, and the back leads to the back of your body. This is the yang side of your body. This is where all the heavy muscles are, right? And all the aggressive muscles are kind of, most of them are coming from the back to the front, whereas this is the soft part of the body. Most mammals have this facing downward, and it's protected, right? We have it facing each other. So our most vulnerable area is actually open to the world. So this, when I focus on the inside of the palm, it activates the inside of my body. I look really asymmetrical here. It has to do with the camera angle. I haven't quite figured out how to get directly in front of it yet. It looks strangely off. Anyway, that's not the point. So what I'm doing is I start in my sort of preparation position before I would do a form or an exercise, and I'll, particularly Tai Chi slow forms, I work my hands like that a little bit, and then I just relax, and then I go through the whole form, and the whole time I'm doing the form, I'm thinking about that inner palms. I'm letting my fingers go all but limp. I'm just relaxing them. So whatever the movement is, I'm just thinking palms, like no tension in the fingers at all, just completely empty of tension in here, just focusing on those inner palms. When I do a hook, like a single whip or something, I think, like, imagine like a piece of Kleenex floating in water and an air bubble came up underneath it and into the palm, like carried it up. So it's there. I'm really focused on that, not this, right? When I do a punch, I barely close my hand. I'm just pushing this soft inner part of my palm forward. And if I'm doing the double, like a wind fills ears type movement, again, I'm keeping this really, really soft and relaxed inside there. And you might want to try this. I invite you to give it a shot. Try it through an entire form that you know, the whole time focusing on this. If you need a little refresher, if your mind is starting to go out to your fingers, just rub your hands together and go back to where you were. And I think you'll like the result, especially if you want to do your Tai Chi to alleviate stress or anxiety. If you're feeling like, overstressed or overworked or overwhelmed by stuff and you want to do some Tai Chi to relax, this is a great theme to do. Just focus on those inner palms and just really, really relaxing. Now, ultimately, I want a blend of yin and yang in all aspects of my body and life. That's what I'm aiming for. The Taoist Tai Chi symbol of a dynamic balance between yin and yang. So ultimately, I want a balance of palm and fingers. I don't want to be fingery in my forms, but I don't want to just be palmy and have these like dead fingers. Can't make my hands be at the same level for some reason. there, there. Um, and So ultimately, we want to have a blend. So what I'm doing here is just feeling that maybe I was going a little bit too much to the fingers in my movements, and I'm just de-emphasizing that and going into the palms instead. And I'm going to do that for a while because it feels really, really good. I feel way more integrated and unified and kind of connected, and my cerebral cortex feels like it's relaxed back into the back seat instead of going forward. And I like the way it feels in my body a lot. My balance is better, my kicks are better, everything's smoother. Feels really, really, really good. And then gradually, I think, I don't know how long, my themes last for a month or two or three, maybe sometimes a whole season or two, or maybe even a year, I don't know. But at some point, I'll feel like I've had enough of that. And then I'll just allow that to go out to my fingers a little bit again and see if I find it just a more balanced, relaxed place with my hands so that my fingers and palms are relaxed. So I am ready to palm something, I'm ready to slap something, I'm ready to grab something or hook something. I'm ready to do all that. I'm neutral, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not all palms, I'm not all fingers. But right now I'm tipping the pendulum over to the palm side, and then another time I'll let it drift back into the more balanced place of palms and palms and fingers working together like that. Instead of right now, I would do it very palmy. I would just let my fingers relax and follow. And the opposite would be tense hands like that. And then eventually I'll be in the middle somewhere where my fingers aren't completely relaxed, but they're pretty relaxed, and the palm is kind of a little more energized and a little more energy in the palm than when I'm just relaxing it. So anyway, I invite you to try it. Rub your fingers together a little bit, feel the inner palm in particular, and then just go through a whole form with nothing but attention on those soft, relaxed inner palms. Refresh it if you need to, and just notice how that feels. Notice how it feels. See if it has a different effect on the connection between your brain and your body and your hands. And then if you like it, I would recommend doing it for a while until you feel like you've had a really good taste of that. And then just go back to feeling like, okay, I'm not necessarily emphasizing that one thing. I'm just doing my Tai Chi form. And, inevitably you'll be a little more fingery, But for now, as you're doing it, notice when you switch from the palms to the fingers, because you will while you're doing the form. Your emphasis will just go out to your fingers sometime, and you go, how does that feel in your brain and in your body? Because I notice myself going there and I can feel certain things narrowing and tensing. And I don't want that my default. I want my default to be in the middle somewhere. So I can go firmer, I can go softer at a moment's notice. I don't want to be too committed on either side of the yin-yang divide before I know what I need to do. Right? Sometimes life calls for you to be really young and strong, and sometimes life calls for you to be really soft and relaxed and yielding. And so you don't know what's coming. So being a neutral is a good place to be, right? So this is being like more yin than neutral in the hands. More yin than neutral. And then eventually finding that balanced neutral place again. If you wanted to, you could experiment with being more yang than neutral and really hold your hands tight all the time, but I think we all pretty much know that sucks. So don't do that unless you really feel the need to, and who knows, maybe that'll yield some amazing stuff. Just recommending that you theme your practices, that you come up with different things to work on for different practices, different weeks, months, seasons of practice. Try this one on for size and see how it feels. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Take good care of yourself, because I want to see you on the other side of this thing.